Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center in New York, Liberates. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's today's study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We do this every day. Yoga, philosophy, made, you know what, I want to call it for dummies because that's sort of an insult, but we're a little dummy. We're a little dummy. That's okay. It's hard to understand all this esoteric stuff. We try to break it down, keep it simple. Me and Kastuba study this stuff for years, and it's finally sinking in little by little. We try to explain it as best we can. Weekends, we take Q&As. You got a question, you mail them to Mara, Wisdom of the Sages 108@gmail.com, or join us live. Mara will send you the code to join us live. We got a big live community. We get between 50, it's not big. It's like 50 to 110 every day. Most people listen. The thousands that listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., like that. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please give us a review. It helps. If you listen on YouTube, you can follow us, like us, subscribe, comment, etc. Good morning, Mara.
Good morning.
Announcements for us, Miss Mara.
Yeah.
I didn't even say good morning to Kastuba.
I know. I
Sorry.
never get the first
It's okay.
one.
I know.
Good morning, Raghunath. Good morning, Mara.
Good morning. We got Bhakti recovery group meetings today at 1 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then coming up this Sunday is the Urban Devi via the Bhakti Center at
Monthly
11 a.m.
get together that they do, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't announce many things, but we announce Urban Devi all the time. Do we get any type of kickback from that?
Oh,
Only
Raghu.
once a month.
No.
We announce it.
Raghu.
I'm just joking. We get spiritual.
Well, what are we
kickback.
learning here from Prahlad and selfless service?
We get 10% affiliate. You click on our affiliate link. It's urbandevi.com/Raghunath.
So what is
Raghunath's
the
401k.
who will be the speaker for this month's Urban Devi? And
Yeah, the speaker is Nava Kishori Devi, and the topic is finding strength in difficult relationships.
oh,
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Finding strength in difficult
all you ladies
relationships.
getting together and talking about
Let
how
me-
these
I
men
should
make
give
our
that
life so
class.
difficult with these relationships.
Men are so difficult. Men are difficult. Actually, men are simple. Women are complicated. Men are difficult. Men are simple. Women are complicated. But they just bash. They just bash heads all the time.
They complement one another, Raghunath.
They can, or they can bonk, or they can bonk heads.
Okay. Anyway, that's it. But that's a ladies' gathering, right? That Urban Devi.
That's right. And you can go to bhakticenter.org and their online gatherings to find out more info and join.
All right, Raghunath. Nugget time, huh?
Nugget time. Well, we have an announcement. Our Wisdom of the Sages retreat
Oh,
almost filled, and that is if you're interested, come join me, Kastuba, Mara, and some of our luminaries at Super Soul Farm next weekend. At Super Soul Farm, go to wisdomofthesages.com/events. It's a nice getaway, and I tell you right now, it's gorgeous up here. It's gorgeous.
All right.
Rhododendrons are in bloom, lilacs. Here come the peonies. Watch out.
All right.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm coming to New York today, Kastuba.
Oh, to see your mother?
Go see my mom.
Nice.
Yeah.
You
Right.
spending the night down there? Or you
No, I'm just gonna go for the day. Just gonna take her out to lunch. Take my sister out to lunch.
come down on the train?
I was gonna, but it's too. I think I'm just gonna drive. We're gonna drive, call people on the phone,
What about your carbon
listen to the
footprint?
Chaitanya Charitamrita. Leave my carbon footprint. Yes, I will leave a little bit of a carbon footprint.
All right. Now they're going to start charging you money to come into Manhattan. When you drive in, they're going to hit you hard.
Oh, really? I mean, they
It's
already
not- it's
charge
not
like
there yet.
$12 for the George Washington Bridge. Give me a break.
Well, why do you take the George Washington Bridge?
You're such a cheapskate. You are Grandma Terry incarnate. Why do you take the
I
George
don't know. I
Washington
mean,
Bridge?
there's a lot of traffic on that bridge too, and not just the money. But
All right.
don't you live on this side of the river anyway? Like, do you cross the river and then cross it again?
Yeah, but then I can't. Can't
Why are you
talk on
doing
the
that?
phone if I take the Taconic because it's such spotty reception.
Oh, so you do it for the reception?
Well, I do it so I can speed also. I can speed on
Okay,
the
so it
throughway.
has
I
to do
can't
with the
speed on
need
the
for
Taconic.
speed. Now it's all
You
starting to
speed
take.
while talking on your cell phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Just to
Because
clarify this all.
yeah,
Oh
I
my God.
voluntarily crossed the river twice and pay a lot of
Take
money
a
to do
longer,
it.
more expensive route.
so
So I can talk on the phone and speed.
okay.
On.
Now we got to the heart of it.
Isn't it amazing? People used to go to New York from Albany on a horse, and things happen so quick. Just to remember, I remember when I lived in New York, everybody had Blackberries. That was a thing. You just had a Blackberry. You talk. You put your hand to your ear, and you just talk on your phone. No one puts their hand to their ear anymore. No one even does that. You can't even make the old sort of heavy metal or hang 10 phones out like I'm on the phone, that mudra.
It
You can't
works.
do that anymore because no one knows. It's like from an old world. Hang up on somebody. That's an old world expression.
What is your fascination? You have this fascination.
I'm just saying things change so fast and then they're over. So people,
Okay.
it's just everybody just had a horse. Isn't that fascinating?
Okay, bro.
And then all of a sudden cars, and it starts like, oh, this car thing will never take off. And then everyone had one. And now it's just like, you don't even think of horses like that.
Huh?
Except when you see a cop on a horse, you're like, where am I? It's like they're going back in time. They're still riding horses in New York. And I wonder if it's just for like the nostalgia or if they got a good angle to whack somebody in the head with a stick. What do you think?
I don't think about it, Raghunath.
You don't think why they
I think
ride
about
horses?
moving
Does
on
anyone
right
have an
now.
answer for this? Any cops listen to our show? Is it for protection?
Okay, Raghunath, please. Enough.
Okay.
Enough. Thank you. You're not getting the hint. When I don't talk to you,
You shut that down. I thought it was an interesting. Okay, let's get on with this.
All right.
All right.
Who's the nugget from, Raghunath? Let's.
Today, if you're new to the show, we start a show with a nugget, some type of universal truth spoken by generally a famous person or someone anonymous that said something so good that people have just copied it, spread it around. So here's the nugget.
All right. Who's it from?
It's from Maya Angelou.
Who is Maya Angelou?
She was an author,
Oh, that poet, I believe, too, right?
poet,
Playwright.
playwright. She probably did all those things.
I think
probably
she
a
did
mother,
the color.
probably a
Purple,
mother,
right?
probably a gardener.
Okay.
Mara's going to tell us, but I have found. Here's what she's. Oh, Mara, you got to speak in the mic, Mara. Got to put that
I am.
knitting down and speak into the microphone. Damn you!
She was an American memoirist, poet, and civil rights activist.
Pretty
Okay.
close.
She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and is credited with a list of plays, movies, and television shows spanning over 50 years.
7 autobiographies?
Yeah.
How many autobiographies? Do I need another autobiography? Monk to monk to yogi.
Yeah. They focus on her childhood and early adult experiences.
Really?
Okay.
Google searches she was a gardener. Okay. Here's what she said. Here's one of the many things she said, because she wrote many, many books. I have found that among its other benefits, giving
Yeah.
liberates the soul of the giver.
Giving liberates the soul of the giver.
Giving liberates the soul of the giver.
giving. Okay, Raghunath, do you agree? Do you disagree?
Hmm. I agree. Are you kidding? That's what it's all about. Well, because giving immediately puts you on the side, as long as you're giving in good conscience. Like if you're giving not out of resentment or a bitterness or sometimes people
That's
give
almost a form of
charity.
taking when you give to
Uh-huh.
get, like you were just talking about the Urban Davy thing.
Yes, yes.
It's that kind of giving is taking.
Here's what Mother Teresa said about that. It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. What do you think about that?
I like that. Yeah.
You know why? Because sometimes people is like, can I have a dollar? People are banging on your car glass or something like that, and you're like, oh God, get away from me. Or you can like give with love. You can give out of like you annoy me, or you can give with love. You can give it to your kids or give it to
And what's the
because your
difference in terms of
intention
result?
behind it changes your heart or could harden your heart even.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but the idea is that and the Bhagavad Gita
So
is so
hold it.
wonderful.
Let's 1 second. So you're saying that
Wait 1 second yourself.
no, no. I so much appreciated what you just said. I wanted to spend a little more time with it
Okay.
and inquire from you more deeply into it. So you're suggesting that the act of giving,
Is nuanced.
well, not only that it's nuanced, but that it grants different results according to your attitude when you do it, and that those results have something to do with a hardening or a softening of the heart.
Sure. It's better than pure selfishness. This is 17th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Charity and the mode of goodness,
Oh yeah, that's
ignorance,
all there,
right?
right?
Huh?
Yeah. Marilyn, you
17th
want to look
chapter,
that up?
magical
17th chapter?
chapter. Everybody should read 17th chapter today. It's short and it's good. But yeah, so yeah, the quality of your heart while giving makes a difference.
Okay, so in a sense, what you're saying, if I want to take that one step further, is that pretty much like all our dealings with other people, according to our attitudes, are either softening
Sure.
or hardening our heart,
Sure.
and
Sure.
therefore you have different kind of etiquettes or regulations or stipulations or suggestions about how a yogi might live, and that they're not just external considerations, but they're internal considerations.
Exactly.
So, okay.
It's all about internal. For example, kids leave some food, like leave dishes in the sink. Drives me and Mara a little bit crazy.
That drives you crazy.
Well, it drives Mara crazy.
When you do it.
But so there's a way. So it can I can wash those dishes that are in there, like those stupid kids. Don't they understand? We're all living together here, right? You can do the same things with resentment, or you can do them. You know what? I'm going to do it with love, and so it gets you out of the resentful mood, which is
Okay.
condemning for the soul.
Y-
To
y-
work with resentment is condemning for the soul.
uh,
That doesn't mean like we shouldn't try to upgrade things, but it sort of works better in the bigger picture when you feel uh, it helps you feel loved and it helps others feel loved. And there's probably better ways to change people than
okay.
to resent them and to
It-
shame them.
You know, I think it was just this weekend it was just this weekend we had a question about, it was Eileen's question, I think, Eileen Shevlin,
Show them the mercy.
about coming back from pilgrimage, and now you're back. She was back in the world of finance and
Oh yeah,
on
and she
some
went to Vegas on a business meeting. She went from
corporate trip to
Punjab to
Vegas.
Vegas like within a
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Perhaps the
And
first time in history.
and her question had to do with how can you kind of keep what's kind of awakening on the pilgrimage, how do you keep it awake and how do you keep it rising in you when you come back and you have to deal with all of the difficult dealings of this world and the dealings that seem so far removed from that. And it sounds like in what you're saying, Raghunath, there's a clue that like in all that you do can kind of be turned into a yoga practice. The yogi is, they're kind of keeping an eye on their own awareness and trying to keep it consistent with that of a bhakta, right? With that of a
Sure.
devotee. I liked her, of course there's so many classic statements similar to what Maya Angelou was saying here. Of course there's the biblical, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Things like that. And, of
Yep.
course, throughout the ages in so many ways, similar statements are made. To me, her statement goes a little bit further. Like it's one thing to say you're blessed when you're giving. It's another thing to say that the act of giving liberates the soul, right? That's kind of like, there's more in that short statement, pregnant in that statement, right? It's
pregnant.
loaded. It's saying that
Yeah.
first of all, it's saying that the soul is not liberated, that the soul is bound. Oh, well, then how is the soul bound? That leads to that question, right? And if giving counteracts it, that's a clue to how it's bound, right? That there's a certain selfishness that binds us.
Well, the selfishness is like the core, the me first, and the gimme gimmes. That's like the core of materialism.
The core of the bondage.
The core of the bondage. And of course, you could put that in a household, right? If it's everybody about me first, you could put that in a town, in a city, in a country, or
in a universe,
nation to nation.
Yeah.
This is the core of, and this it is it's the birth of war. It's the birth of
giving,
acrimony. No.
Selfishness.
Me
Okay.
first and the gimme gimmes. Me first. So
Right.
if you have it in a family, you have a chaos within the household. If you have it in the city or in the town or the country or the nations, then you just have it's me first, and I'm going to get what I want. And that's why a big part of our process, the yogic process, is you control the senses. You tell the senses what to do. They are your employees. You're not the employee of your mind, of your senses, of your tongue, your belly, your genitals. They work for you. We reel them in to work for us so that we can that they can assist us to be they can be our friends. Our mind should be our friend. It shouldn't be our worst enemy.
It was interesting what you're saying about taking this idea onto the national platform. Imagine if every nation had wholeheartedly embraced the idea that, we'll benefit from giving to other nations. Like, that's really where it's at. Well, theoretically, you'd have a world of peace. But we're kind of all a little nervous, like, well, if we give, we'll become vulnerable.
Sure.
And so we really have to think more about defending or even taking.
This is why this is why we're going to have to bring it back to the Cro-Mags. The seal is broken.
Okay.
The seal is broken. The Cro-Mags have a song called "World Peace Can't Be Done."
Because we're all caught in this. Because in this world, we come to this world because of this selfish gene. It's not a selfish gene, because actually that's not our fault that we have a selfish gene, but
because the soul is because we're contaminated.
Because the soul is pure, but yeah,
the soul is pure. We're contaminated.
But we're programmed. It's selfish programming, deep set programming.
Yeah.
And so the act of giving, I get it. What Maya Angelou is saying is it's counter to that. It's a formula that actually you become more sound, you become more stable, you become more satisfied, you become more blissful through the act of giving. Prabhupada, it's really interesting. A lot of times when we're reading Prabhupada's translations, the word bhakti is in the verse, and Prabhupada translates it as
devotional service.
Devotional service, right? Which sometimes when I'm reading, I'm almost like, oh, Prabhupada, like, and it would have been easier if you would have said bhakti right there, like, at least to the audience that I'm speaking, because
I know sometimes I translate it back to bhakti.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a trigger in that phrase. Devotional service. What am I, like the bus boy here or something like that?
What am I? The guy, the waiter?
Yeah.
What can I get you, Mr. Kostuba? Some more devotion? Would you like some devotional service?
But it's also important that he translated it that way, so that we understand that
love is an action.
Yeah, that love is naturally expressed through action, through service.
Right. It's not just like
what are you trying to claim credit for that cliche? Like,
I feel devotion. Nah, you want to feel devotion?
Go out and show
do it. Get out there and do something with yourself.
Yeah. Again, back to the Bible. Somewhere in there it says in the New Testament, faith without works is dead. It's like, I think Prabhupada. Because earlier acharyas like Ramanuja Acharya. I've read his Bhagavad Gita commentary. I can't say I'm very much steeped in his writings like I am in Prabhupada's writings.
Sure.
but from what I've read and from what I've heard from others, you know, when he speaks of bhakti, and we can translate that word in different ways, but when he speaks of bhakti, he's responding to the world that he was in, and the previous
Sure.
commentators like Shankar. When he speaks of bhakti, he's speaking about the state of consciousness called bhakti, which is a state of, you know, it's a meditative state of connection to God, love for God.
Mm.
And when Prabhupada speaks of it, he speaks of it, he more commonly, he speaks of it on many levels, but he more commonly will translate it as devotional service and speak of it as an action, right? Like bhakti as expressed through service. I think that's, you know, that's important for us to get, because in a sense, Prabhupada's, in one sense, he's getting to what Maya Angelou is saying, but in far greater detail, you know, as he presents Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. There's a formula that we, and he's saying, don't fear. In some of his commentaries, he's going to share this. Maybe one if we can get to it today. Don't fear that you will lose through devotional service.
Mm.
It's actually your nature,
Mm.
and don't fear the recipient of your devotional service. Don't fear that's a tyrant on the other end. So in one commentary, Prabhupada says that the impersonalist, those that deny the personal manifestation of God, they shudder. Prabhupada uses the term, they shudder to think that at the idea of like eternal servitude, right? They shudder at that thought.
That was a band, by the way. Shudder to Think was a band.
Shudder to think that they just want eternal peace,
Mm.
right? But Prabhupada say, no, you don't
Sounds like a
understand.
good thing, right? Eternal peace.
Well, there's nothing wrong with eternal peace, but there's something beyond that. There's something still further. There's a higher level of evolution that's eternal service, which is a bliss in its own.
Sure. Well, me and Mara were having this. I had to like stop puja this morning to just share this realization with Mara about Mayavadi
Okay.
philosophy. You hear so much, especially in Prabhupada's lineage, a very, very loud statement
Condemnation.
about a condemnation almost of Mayavadism, or there is no, the form of God is just temporary. It's just a stepping stone to get to understand that you are God.
Right.
And the whole you are God thing is a real relief for people who've suffered in Abrahamic religions, where God is this horrible, sadistic tyrant meant to punish you for every wrong move. So it's almost like a relief. You're like, we are God. Woo. Not this. We just have to be. You know, we are godly. We forgot about it. So in the Gaudiyas say that we're actually part of something bigger. We're not God. And see, once you start to say you are God, and this is why the Bhaktas really go against it, is because you can't love. It
Kills
cheats
it.
you out of. It kills you out of loving when you want to become it. It can give you some type of peace from the material world to understand you're a spiritual being. Everybody's a spiritual being. But, you know, I can really explain this in my life because, you know, as a singer of a band when I was younger, I had fans. And there were certain fans that wanted to be around you and get your energy of the singer. You know, they were sort
They're
of
trying to
hanger-ons.
steal your energy.
They try to like sort of like you get to hang out, you get to go backstage, you get to go on tour with them, and they had, and in one sense,
made them
they
feel
were sort of
special.
like friends. I'm just sort of naive. I'm just like, yeah, they're my friends.
They were
And
bloodsuckers.
according to their intention, they either wanted to just get that thing of hanging out with the band, or they actually, what I found was some people had this thing where they actually wanted to be you, and the closer they got to you, they tried to they became your biggest enemies, like immediately. And they actually want to become you. It's a weird thing. And this is the thing with Mayavadi philosophy that is pushed. They don't actually want to serve God. They want to be God. And it's masked in a type of spirituality, but it's the deepest type of materialism. It's the deepest type of materialism.
So there's this,
them at the center again.
Okay. I see a similarity. You know, boy, there's a lot we could talk about on this. Maybe let's just go ahead and start getting into it.
All right, let's get into it because we got verses to go.
Oh, okay. I meant get into the
Oh,
topic.
you want to
right
get into
now.
this? No, let's get into our verses.
Okay.
Or I don't want to. Yeah, yeah, but I don't.
Get into the verse. We'll come back to it as long as you don't go off on too many squirrels.
Well, I was going to say I don't want you to go off on a squirrel because we have to read the Bhagavatam today.
Okay.
Can you do
Hit it.
that? Can you do that, please? Narayanam namaskrityanam chaiva devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam madirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki, by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact.
No, bro. I was going to say, spend a little time with the Om today.
Om. Magyana tamarandasya gyananjana shalakaya chaksurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers, they've opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer obeisances at their lotus-like feet.
How did that feel?
Felt good. It felt good. I said it all with a little bit more drama meets heart.
Okay, there we go.
You have to enter into the feeling of
The
these
heart
verses,
space.
or else you're just a parrot. We don't want to be parrot-like in our recitation of mantras.
Got to be happening right here. Heart deep, not lip deep, right?
Like a bird that can actually speak, as opposed to a parrot that just mimics.
Okay.
Like a bird person.
All right.
Good day. Yesterday we talked about bird people. Okay,
and here we are again.
We're gonna keep this topic all week.
All right, what text are we on now?
Text 4.
Okay, so
Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 4. And
Narada speaking to Yudhishthira about Prahlad, Prahlad is getting pushed up, right? It's too hot, even for Lakshmi.
Too hot. Go on.
To speak to Nrsingadev right now. He's trembling. He's angry still. It hasn't died down yet. She's afraid. She's afraid. Does Raghunath ever scare you, Mara? Are you like, whoa?
You know what? I'm scary when I lose it, but Mara does nothing ever to provoke my anger.
I've never seen you very angry.
You just know Shanti Raghunath. You don't know Ugra Raghunath is. I get scared.
You've never seen Ugra Raghunath? Never?
You probably have, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But I saw Ugra Raghunath. I scare myself. I get it's almost like a demon comes out of me.
All right.
It's only like after I get pushed. I'm like a Labrador. I'm very soft, I lick and kind and sweet. But if you push me and corner me, I jump out of my skin.
Okay.
Okay, go
on. So all the devas, they all said like a quick prayer, but he was still like trembling. He was still like hot. And the devas realized we can't cool him down. They encouraged Lakshmi to move forward, his own divine consort. Sure. She was like, nope, too hot.
Sure.
And now Brahma gets there. You know what? It's all about Prahlad, right? The Lord just manifested in this wondrous form for him, not for all of us. Everybody's praying, you did this for us, you did that for us, thank you for doing this. No. Actually, he came for Prahlad, right? And so he says, let's send little Prahlad up there, see if he can cool him down.
I want to go off on a slight different, little. There's a little interesting squirrel. There's 9 forms of Nrsinga. Because we were joking about. Okay. We were joking about Ugra Raghunath. We were saying Ugra Raghunath because there's a form of Nrsinga called Ugra, like ferocious Nrsingadev, and he's worshipped like that. That's how the deity is in Mayapur, right?
Yeah.
Then there is Malola Nrsinga. Ma means the goddess Lakshmi, refers to the lover. This form of Nrsinga has the goddess Mahalakshmi depicted in it. This is one of the calmest forms.
Okay.
Oh, Krodha Nrsinga. This form is the Lord depicted with extruded teeth. The form is also a combination of the third avatar of Lord Mahavishnu.
That sounds like maybe the Ugra.
Yeah, I know. I don't know the difference. Jwala.
The
Jwala.
fiery,
This is one of
right?
the most ferocious forms of the Lord.
On
He's
fire.
depicted as a beast with 8 hands. He used 2 hands to tear open Hiranyakashipu's stomach, two garlands on himself with the intestines. 2 hands are used to hold the demon in place, and the last 2 uphold weapons, the conch and the discus.
I think
Varaha
Jwala means.
Nishringa.
I think Jwala means like fire or something.
Jwala.
Yeah,
Maybe.
something like that.
Varaha Nishringa. This form of the Lord Nishringa is also called Prahlad Baradar or Shanta Nishringa. This form is often
But that means
depicted
I think
along with
he's
the goddess Lakshmi or the Varaha avatar.
here's
I don't know. I don't know the difference, but
Varda. I think means he's giving benediction to Prahlad.
okay. Bhargava Nishringa. Lord Parshuram was blessed by Lord Nishringa. The form in which he appeared is known as Bhargava Nishringa. This form is similar to Ugra Nishringa. Okay. Karanja Nishringa. It is said that Lord Hanuman once did penance to see Lord Ram. Lord Mahavishnu appeared as Lord Nishringa instead. The form of Lord Nishringa has a resemblance of Lord Ram. He holds the bow and an arrow and has the serpent Ananta spread over his head as an umbrella. Karanja is a tree which Lord Hanuman performed the penance and where Lord Nishringa appeared. These are really intimate Nishringa stuff. Yoga Nishringa. This is an interesting one. In this
You
form,
often in South India you see Yoga Nishringa. He's got
Yoga
that
Nishringa.
little strap around his knees.
He's doing
kinda-
Warrior 2.
No, he's doing like sitting in
Choking.
more like a lotus position, but
Yes.
they got that kind of knee strap kind of pose.
he was using props. Harry.
Yeah, they use props down there.
In this form, Lord Nishringa uses a chair prop. Now, in this form, Lord Nishringa holds a meditative pose. He has his legs crossed and his eyes closed. That is a very interesting form. His hands rest in yogic mudra that denotes peace. It is said that it was in this form that Nishringadev taught his devotee Prahlad all the basics of yoga.
Wow, I didn't even know that he did that.
Yeah. Lakshmi Nishringa form is calm depiction of Lord Nishringa. So I guess there's so many different ones. The Lord is shown with his consort Senju Lakshmi. It is said that during the avatar of Lord Nishringa, goddess Lakshmi took birth as Senju Lakshmi in the home of some tribals to be with Lord Nishringa. There are tribals who worship this form of Lord Nishringa even to this day. Tribals are people in India that live outside the Vedic culture. But for some reason,
Thank you.
some of what people don't know. I'm not telling you that.
Well, we know
Just-
what tribal means. I mean,
I know, but people don't know that they throw the word tribal down there. It's confusing. It's still they're still there today. They're meaning they've been living
you
in
and
India
your
for generations.
sociological insights, Raghunath has.
Back off.
Raghunath takes this is a teachable moment.
Linda is sitting there. She just fill my cup with your wisdom, Raghunath. I'm doing this for her.
Okay, no, that's great. You know, someone might ask, well, why do they outline it in this way? That like, oh, 'cause, you know, some sage or something like that has kind of like saying, okay, there's all these different ways in which Lord Nrsimha is conceived of, meditated on, served, you know, and each one, because in each form, in each manifestation, there's a different way that you relate, right?
Mhm.
Each one is another flavor of devotion.
Mm.
Another type of meditation. So yeah, sages will outline it like that. So right now he's more in that fiery mood right now, and it's hard to deal with.
I worship a Lakshmi Nrsimha every day.
Okay.
I should give it a name, a special name. Okay.
All right, let's go.
Let's dive in. Narada Muni continued. O king, the exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj was only a little boy. He accepted Lord Brahma's words. He gradually proceeded towards Lord Nrsimhadev and fell down to offer his respectful obeisances with folded hands.
Okay.
Very common thing. Eastern cultures, you bow down before a person.
Mhm.
We don't do it so much in America. When Lord Nrsimhadev saw the small boy Prahlad prostrated at the soles of his feet, he became most ecstatic in affection towards his devotee. Raising Prahlad, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the boy's head, because his hand is always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees.
Okay. So he's got human feet,
So in case you were wondering.
but he's
Wait,
got
did he have
lion
paw
paws.
hands? Okay. Paw,
Yeah.
hands, human feet. By the touch of Lord Nrsingadeva's hand,
Comes the paw.
paw, Nrsingadeva's paw hand on Prahlad's head. Ever touch a cat's paw? It's the sweetest thing ever. Prahlad was with those little pads.
Then they got that little, you could hit him like a button and like a switchblade.
It's like a very cushioned. Prahlad was completely freed of all material contamination and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed.
Interesting, right? You think
Yeah, well, this is something great sages do. They place their hand on your forehead, on your third eye, and just like tap you on the head. Radha
you
Swami
would
would do that to my children when they were little, just like put this hand on their head or tap them on their head, like almost like this Shakti pot, or to clear their third eye or something mystical.
But it seems that Prahlad's awareness was already on such a pure level. Must be just took him to the next level, I guess, huh?
I wonder, does it end? Can you get to a pure devotee, or can you get to super pure? Can you get to, platinum pure? What is it? Million miler? What is it?
Okay, so he touched him on the head, and something within the awareness of Prahlad Maharaj was taken to the next level.
Prahlad was completely freed of all material contaminations and desires. Therefore, he at once became transcendentally situated. I read it before.
Oh, you were
And
okay.
all the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. That's what happens when the
Whew.
Lord touches your forehead.
Yeah.
Symptoms of ecstasy, like his heart filled with love and his eyes with tears. And thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart.
Oh, beautiful.
Prahlad fixed his mind and sight on Lord Nrsingadev with full attention in complete trance. With his mind fixed, he began to offer prayers in love with faltering voice. Right? The faltering voice is like a humble voice. Prahlad Maharaj
What does
prayed.
it sound like? Just read this next verse in a faltering voice.
How is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of asuras, demons,
That's not faltering yet. That's like
to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
prayers.
Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words. Although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness, then what is it to be said of me? I am not at all qualified.
Oh, Raghunath, just imagine what it would have been like if you were one of the bird people or you were one of the other people that had just offered prayers, but they weren't with tears in the eyes,
Right.
with this level of devotion, right? This is what Bhagavatam is putting the frame around for us. Here's the consciousness that we're aiming for.
Sure.
Right?
It's like someone
manifesting
giving charity, a beggar coming to the streets and you here's some money. Stop banging on my window. Or a person saying, here's
back
some
to
money.
that.
How are you today? What
I
do
think
you
it's
need?
beyond that, Raghunath. I think it's.
I'm just saying there's nuanced versions of prayers. There's nuanced versions of, I'm just trying to bring it back to our
All right.
nuggets, sir.
Okay, but this is what's being displayed here is the higher levels of bhakti. His body is trembling, tears are in his eyes. He's feeling love. He's not just talking about love of God. He's feeling it so deeply that the tears are coming from the eyes, and he's just speaking with such humility and love. Okay.
Okay, next one. Text 9. One may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and even mystic yogic power. But I think that even all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service.
Devotional service.
Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord was satisfied with him.
Why do you think he's mentioning
Isn't it
Gajendra?
amazing? Like Prahlad, this was millennia ago, is going to now reference something that even happened longer ago. Like an elephant, a saintly king born into the body of an elephant, famous story, became a big, massive alpha elephant. And then he got attacked by a crocodile. And, it's like one of these it's one of these nature is metal scenes where the alligator versus the crocodile the crocodile versus the elephant, and the elephant's sort of like in the water, and all the other elephants are like, oh, let's get out of here. Our king is getting killed, and all the beta elephants start to run, and he's desperate. He's got no one's there. He was on the top of the world, and now he's like in this humiliated situation where he's about to get killed. And you know what those alligators would do? They do the death twirl. Ever see that? They grab the victim. They start
I don't think you
flipping
can do that
upside
with an
down.
elephant.
Eventually, they would probably.
They'll whip that elephant body around.
Yeah, something if they get deep enough water.
Okay, all right.
And it would, it wouldn't. And anyway, to make a long story short, when everything becomes destitute in our life and we have nowhere to turn, that's when Krishna loves you. When Krishna likes you, he starts to give you what you want. When Krishna likes you, he makes you the king of the elephants. And when Krishna loves you, he starts to strip everything away. So there's nothing left except Krishna. Oh, Krishna. And that's exactly what Gajendra did. He picked a lotus that was growing in that lake or river, and he reached it up to the sky.
With the trunk?
With his trunk, with his arm-like trunk, and just started offering prayers to Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu appeared.
So it's there's a reason why Gajendra is mentioned. I mean, he could have picked anyone, right?
Well,
There's so many.
Was it because Gajendra had everything? He was like, out of all the elephants, he was the super alpha. Of the jungle, he was the super alpha.
I think it's almost the opposite of that, Raghunath.
What is that?
It's that he was an elephant, right? Like, in other words, because it's saying someone may have, and he's in front. I think this is really important that he's saying that in front of all of these different devas and these different universal high-level characters that we just heard about in the last chapter, because they have wealth, tremendous wealth.
Sure.
They have aristocracy. They're coming from super high-level families, right? I'm the son of Gautama Rishi or whatever, it's like they're all like way high-level families.
Did some Acharya mention this, or are you just speculating?
The Acharyas do mention this, right?
Okay.
I'm not sure in this verse. I didn't read in this verse, but I've heard these things mentioned before, that they have incredible beauty. They have the potential to perform incredible austerities. They're very educated. They have sensory expertise, et cetera, all the things that he listed. We think can these make us special in the eyes of God?
In the eyes of People magazine, those are very, very special qualities.
Yeah.
In the eyes of God, they're nothing.
Nothing.
They're nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah. Because why? Logically take that to the next step. Why are they nothing in the eyes of God?
Because
there's different ways you can answer
this. They're not meant to serve God. They are meant for you to be God. And this is why, and because we're not God, yet people are telling us we're God. The validation of the people are telling us we're so important. It drives you crazy. Look at Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. You get so much fame and you don't know what to do with it.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, you're saying because they died young.
No, because they die horrible deaths because they just can't cope with that energy of fame, that energy of sometimes very beautiful people are crazy. Sometimes people are very wealthy people. They're unsure who loves them. That energy you have of that Shakti you have, right? It has to be reunited with the Lord.
Okay.
And that's the grounding principle of Shakti, right? The feminine and the masculine. If you have some great quality, you have to offer that back to the Lord, and that will ground that quality.
Yes, we'll get back to Maya Angelou right there, right? Now, I was thinking two answers to that question that I proposed. Do you remember the question?
What question? Who are you?
Where am I?
Who's she? Who's this woman knitting next to me?
But all these different qualities that are being mentioned.
Oh, why Gajendra?
High level birth, beauty, austerity, wealth, education, right. All these things. They can't touch the heart of God. Why? Over here, Raghunath. Over here.
There's something very okay.
Go. Over here. Why can't they touch the heart of God? One answer could be that these are God's own energies himself. In other words, I didn't create my beauty. I didn't create my wealth. Those are given to me. Those are the energies of God. So when I'm like, here, take my wealth, here's a
Mhm.
donation, take my wealth.
Right.
It's kind of like that's his already anyway. Just like a child will give sometimes, the parents will give the child some money and the child will use it and buy a present for the parents. It's not and usually some insignificant little gift, right?
Yeah.
And the parent paid for it themselves. So it's like, what did they
Right.
gain? They didn't really gain anything. But if it's done with love, that present means more
I
than
like
anything.
that analogy. I like
Oh,
that
okay.
analogy.
All right. So it's none of these things are what's going to touch the heart of Krishna or Vishnu.
You got you're growing beautiful flowers, and then you offer to the Lord. Big deal. Krishna made those flowers.
Krishna made the flower.
You didn't make
Yeah.
them. Just put a seed in the ground. Krishna did all the other work.
Yeah,
I made this garden. You didn't make anything.
Exactly. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is just the nature of Krishna, that these are speaking to the nature of Krishna, that he's not like the people of this world that can be bought with material things or that are impressed with material opulence.
Mm-hmm.
Material opulence means nothing to him. His interest is in love. And so Gajendra is being mentioned because he's not high level birth. He got born in an elephant family.
Mm-hmm.
Wealth. Well, he's got elephant wealth, but he doesn't have the kind of wealth that he's an elephant, for crying out loud.
Elephant wealth.
He didn't
What
go
is
to elephant
elephant
school. He didn't,
Bunch
it's
of bananas.
yeah.
What did elephants eat?
So even an animal, if they have devotion, will touch the heart of God. Whereas, the highest birth in the universe, even if they have wealth and beauty and all these things, that doesn't move Krishna. And this is important that we understand the heart of Krishna.
This is a great point. I think actually, now that I think about it, dogs are much more spiritual than cats because dogs are devoted.
They
And
do seem to have a more
cats are
devotional
arrogant.
attitude.
Cats are just so damn arrogant, and they just want to lay on your chest, and they want to do what they want to do.
They're takers.
They're takers. Dogs are givers.
Dogs are givers. And dogs, what do they want? They want your love. They want your attention.
All they want is your
Spend a little time with me.
Just let's go for a
Throw
walk.
the stick.
Go for a walk.
I will run over. I'll grab
You throw it as far as you can. I'll go get it for you.
I'll bring it back. That'd be the greatest thing. Nothing could
That
excite
would
me
make
more.
my life. No
I'll
one's
be
happier to
complete.
see me than my dog. I can understand why people get sick of humans, but they always will. It's just like, I hate humans, but I love my dog.
Yeah, they're less complicated.
Yeah.
Than the humans.
Okay.
All right, I think we're done for today, but
Ah,
we'll get to
I was in a
the Maya
roll.
Angelou connection. I knew we did before the show today for everyone. I said, Raghunath, we need to get to verse 11. We need to move quick.
I know. It's like, let's move
So
quick. We
there's
didn't move quick.
18 different versions of Lord Nrsimhadev here. At that point,
That was
said,
interesting, though, wasn't it?
It was very interesting. But at that point, I said, okay, scrap that plan. All right, Mara, any takeaways today?
Yeah, I guess you got some more stuff you want to squirrel on, Raghu?
Well, I had a great quote by Charles Dickens. Check this one out. No one is
Does it
useless
have anything to do with what we were
Yes.
talking about? Okay.
Giving. No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of another.
Oh.
We find our significance in giving.
Thank you for sharing your Dickensian wisdom there, Raghunath.
Thank you.
All right,
Another teachable moment.
I got some good takeaways today. The intention in giving can soften or harden your heart.
That's right. That was
The
Raghu right there.
intention.
Raghu.
Raghunath. You could put that, make that into a meme.
The intention in
Post it.
giving can either harden or soften the heart. Raghunath.
Don't be condemned by resentment.
Raghunath.
Selfishness is the core of our bondage.
Raghunath.
Angela.
2004. 2024.
Love is naturally expressed through service.
The Stuba.
Feel-
There's a picture of you like holding your beard. Yes.
Feel devotion, get out there and do something with it.
Okay.
Eternal love is higher than eternal peace.
It's true.
We're aiming for consciousness like Prahlad.
Oh, yeah. Maybe even higher in one sense. Because
You wanna go higher than Prahlad?
Well, because we aim
I
for
think
the.
you'd be. I would think you should just be like, I want to serve Prahlad. Why do you want to be higher than
No,
Prahlad?
totally. But We do aim for the love of the residents of Vrindavan.
Oh, okay. You can throw that in there now. Okay.
Sorry.
Reunite your Shakti with the Lord to ground it.
Reunite your Shakti with the Lord to ground.
Reunited.
All
Okay.
our material opulences won't touch the heart of God.
Nothing. Not even a little bit.
It's Gajendra's devotion, not his elephant wealth.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's not his elephant wealth.
And
He stockpiles bananas.
and cats are takers, dogs are givers.
That's right.
Yes, they are.
Are all the
Thank you.
cats takers? Do some cats
All
give?
of them.
No, cats, you know what they give? They give you a dead bird.
Yeah, they
That's
do
true.
bring back a
That-
dead animal, and they sort of offer, like, here, I did this for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Often
And
decapitated.
you're like, that's sick.
I got one today. I got a decapitated mole on my every day. You don't even know this because I'm up earlier. I go outside. There's a decapitated beast on my doormat. I take it by the tail and throw it.
Who
in the
brought
woods.
it there? Your cat?
Yeah, or a little guy with a knife.
Do you
I
try
don't
to
know,
sit
I'm
down with a cat and say,
guessing.
this is sick? Can't you be more like us?
No, I mean it's
I,
important.
I appreciate
Sometimes
the
they bring
idea.
them and leave them under a table.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you like what we're doing, follow us. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Everybody can do that right now. Do it right now. You guys look like my kids. I gotta
Easy
yell.
there. Easy.
On there, on the Instagram right now and follow us and share it with a friend. All right.